And we're live. Hello, it's Donna Lee. And welcome to my Chalk Couture Facebook page. And if you are not a designer, I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and like the video. And give it a thumbs up or a heart, and then if you wouldn't mind, share it to your timeline, so that will help me to gain a larger audience, and I would greatly appreciate that. I just thought I'd get on here tonight and play and just answer any questions about Chalk Couture. I'm using some transfers. I'm going to use a couple of different transfers that I have, 2 for sure, maybe even 3. I've got a couple of my Chalkology paste colors out. I have Storm, which is sort of a gray color. And let me play with my lighting here really quick. See which one is better. I think that one's pretty good, that first one. So this is called Storm, so it looks kind of gray, but it's almost a little smoky. It's beautiful on a chalkboard. This is the Fresh Linen color, which is absolutely gorgeous. And we also have the beautiful Peacock, which is another gorgeous color, and the Currant Jam. So those are the pastes that I have out. Doesn't mean we have to stick with those. I can change my mind if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment. If you are watching this on the replay, if you would, please in the comments type replay. And I'm going to share this a couple of places. There. I wish you could share it to your own page, but I think maybe they don't let you do that. I'm still trying to find my way around a Facebook business page. Part of me wishes I'd never done it, but I think they're going to start enforcing it, so better that I just went ahead and did it. So let me tell you about what is Chalk Couture. So Chalk Couture, I'm an independent designer with Chalk Couture, and we sell silk screens that are adhesive backed. They are reusable transfers. So this comes on a backing sheet, and it comes as one solid sheet, and it has lines where you can see the white backing sheet behind it, and you just cut it with your scissors, and then you peel up the transfer and pull it corner to corner. Do not pull on a diagonal, and you peel it off, and then you can see right through there. So that is a silk screen. Okay, and we use Chalkology paste or Chalkology ink, and I'll explain the difference in a minute. And the Chalkology paste goes down on your transfer wet. You push it through with a squeegee, and we have multiple squeegees, multiple sizes, and I'll show you a couple of those as we go through the process. And so you push the paste through, and then we will peel the transfer up. Our paste is going to dry very quickly, and it's going to dry hard. And then when you're done with it, and you want to repurpose your chalkboard or your chalking surface, I'm going to say when you want to reuse your chalkboard because that's the easiest to reuse. You can just wet it. So you take a bottle of water, and we should recommend you use distilled water, but you take a bottle of water and you spritz it on your project, and then you would use a Chalk Couture board eraser. You get a pack of 2 of these. You can purchase these through my website, through my store, and Chalk Couture will ship it out to you. And you just cleanse, wet the chalkboard scrub it with your board eraser, which is a lot like the board eraser. Excuse me. Let me make sure I'm back. Okay. All right, so here we go. My phone, I did not put it on Do Not Disturb. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and say hello so I'll know you're here. I noticed the other night when I was live that I couldn't see all the comments that were coming through on the chat. So if I don't respond to you, please retype it so that maybe I will see it. There were a lot of comments in the chat that I didn't see until after the live video was over. So anyway, the Chalk Couture paste, you just wet it, wipe it with your board eraser, and then clean it with a disinfectant wipe. I buy them wherever I get the best deal. Every time I go to the Dollar Tree, I pick up some of these because they're inexpensive and they work fabulously. So we've got all of our tools. We have a couple of multi-tools. So this is great for stirring your paste and applying to a small area. We also have a multi-angled squeegee. So you can see that it has different angles for you to use on your projects. So if you need a longer surface, you could use this. Smaller and more triangular in shape. So just depending upon what you need. And then we have the small squeegees, which are this size. And so we just use them like that. We also have Chalkology ink. Let me tell you a little bit about Chalkology ink. Chalkology ink can be used on fabric and any other surface. It only becomes permanent if you heat set it with your iron, or I use my Easy Press 2 from Cricut. Or if you have a shirt press, you can use that. So once you heat set it, it is permanent. It is fabulous for making t-shirts with. So let's get started. Let me open the transfer. Now I'm just using some transfers that I had laying here on my table that I wanted to play with. So I have this chalk board that I picked up at Michael's. I have had it quite some time. Pre-Thanksgiving I picked that up, so I don't know that they have them anymore. You would have to check. So I am going to use some finishing wax. I picked mine up at Home Depot. You can pick it up at your favorite store. Chalk Couture also sells a little wax. It looks like a chapstick container. Okay, let me grab a paper towel. Now the reason that I'm going to wax the chalkboard is because I don't want my transfer to stick so much that it makes it hard for me to get off, because that could lead to my stretching the transfer. So I'm just going to take my paper towel and start down here in the corner, and I'm going to apply the wax in a circular motion all over the board. Make sure I get everything covered. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take a different spot on my paper towel and go ahead and just work this in and take some of it off. So I'm going to turn my towel in. There. I'm just going to keep working it until I can't really see the wax anymore. I may have put a little much on there, so I may have to work it. So the great thing about Chalk Couture silk screen transfers is that you can use them with other transfers, and you can chalk on chalkboards, you can chalk on canvas, you can chalk on wood, you can chalk on fabric, you can chalk on t-shirts. Pretty much, you can chalk on metal. If it is a hard surface that is non-porous, you can chalk or ink on it. The inks, Couture inks, will only become permanent when you heat set them, and then they will not wash out. We have fonts in our catalog. If you go to my site, which is www.chalkcouture.com/Donna-Lee, and you can go down and browse the catalog, and you will find several fonts in our catalog. One is a real tall skinny, so if you are into the what is it called? Ray Dunn. So if you're into that, it looks similar to it. It's not exactly it, but it looks similar. It's that style. And so that might appeal to you. Okay, so now we're going to take the transfer. I'm going to sit that up there for a minute. And I am going to, I need to find my fuzzing cloth. So this is a brand new product for Chalk Couture. It will be back in stock the middle of March 2019. And I highly recommend it. I've used it a couple of times now. So one side is microfiber, one side is more terry, one side is for drying a transfer when you need to dry it. The other side is for what we call at Chalk Couture fuzzing. So the reason that we fuzz is to help remove some of the stickiness on the back of the silkscreen transfer. Once we clean the transfer, the stickiness is going to return in full force. So I'm going to remove this from its backing sheet. And on the back of my transfer, I'm going to grab a permanent pen, and I'm going to write the name of the transfer, which is She Believed She Could. So that way, it helps me identify that this is the back of the transfer. So when I'm done cleaning this transfer, it will go back on the shiny side, not the side that I've written the name of the transfer on. Okay. All right, so we have that. We will put that there. And I'm going to lay this down on my fuzzing cloth from Chalk Couture. And then I'm going to pick it up at the corners, work it across, hold my towel, and pull it off the cloth. Now, if you do not have the fuzzing cloth from Chalk Couture, you can use a microfiber towel. I picked up a pack of them from Amazon. It's an Amazon Basic. They're very affordable, so you can pick up some of those. You can also get them at Sherwin-Williams. At least locally you can. They were a great deal when I was in there, so I got a pack of 6. So you can pick up microfiber towels, or you can just use a regular towel that you have, but you don't want anything that's too fibrous, because you don't want to put a lot of lint on it, because you do need it to stick some to your board. And like I said, once we clean these transfers, which I will show you how to clean them in this process. Okay, so I'm going to bring my board back. So here's my test for if I have fuzzed this enough. So I take it and I go across. And so it's not sticking immediately to it. So I know that it's ready to lay it down. So I'm going to take my time, try to get this centered where I want it to be. And I'm looking at the sides. Try to have equal hanging off the edges. I think it could come back a little bit to my left. And you see this is wanting to curl, and that's because the very first time I used it, I didn't pull it straight up. I pulled it back instead of straight up, and it curled the transfer, but it's still very usable. So not to worry, but just remember, pull straight up. Let's see. Okay. All right, so once I think I have it where I want it, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go over the silk screen area and just around the outside of the silk screen area. And the purpose of this is to help adhere it to the board and feel and look for any air bubbles. Hello, hello. So the name of this transfer is She Believed She Could. Then it says So She Did. And I think it's perfect for motivation. Have hanging maybe in your office space or wherever. In your bathroom, wherever you might need some motivation. Okay, so we have our transfer down. So I'm gonna go ahead and decide what color I'm going to use. So do I wanna use the linen or the storm? I think I'm going to go storm. It's a little bit darker. And I have to try to get it off. Sometimes they get a little sticky. All right, now, so we have stir sticks that you can buy. They come 24 to a pack, or you can use the back of your spoon. You can use the multi-tool, but I'm just going to use one of the new stir sticks. So I'm going to stir my paste, and the consistency I'm looking for is yogurt or sour cream. Some people say cake batter. So I tend to look for yogurt. So this is a little thick, so I am going to take my distilled water that I have put in a mister bottle, and I'm just going to give it a few little mist right into the paste. Our Chalkology pastes are toxic free, so they're safe to use with your children, grandchildren. They wash off with water, easy cleanup. Okay, and let's see. When you pick up your paste, you might get a little chalk or ink if you're using ink on your hands. So be mindful of that, and keep a wet wipe or disinfectant cloth or paper towel, something that you can clean your hands. But if you accidentally get it on your chalkboard surface or anything else, it's totally cleanable with water. Okay, so we are ready to use this, and I am going to use the small squeegee. This is our small squeegee, and so I'm dipping it right in the jar with the paste. And I'm going to put some around, and then I'm going to hold it at a 90-degree angle and go over the silkscreen area. So this is, you know, a taller transfer. You got a little more area to cover. So it's possible that our paste could begin to dry before we're done putting the paste everywhere we want it. So I'm going to show you how to handle that. So we want to put down the paste with our squeegee. Okay, now we're going to come back with our squeegee, and we are picking up excess paste and then putting it right back in the jar with the squeegee. And I can tell you that I need to add a little more water. Now you can get some little lines in here from your squeegee. So you just lightly go over it to dissolve those lines. So this paste, like I said, is going to dry pretty quickly. So what we do, because once this starts to dry on the transfer, you risk it peeling up, the dry paste peeling up with the transfer. So I am taking the transfer and I'm pulling straight up, okay? And I'm looking at it as I pull it up, not towards me, see, not this way like I did the first time, but straight up. And I'm looking at it because if I need to, I can lay this back down and apply some more paste if it didn't get somewhere very well, but that is perfectly chalked. So we are going to take this, and I'm going to take my other jar of Chalkology paste, and I'm just going to lay my transfer back down and kind of let my sticky, the adhesive back, hold it there for a moment. And I am going to add a couple more spritz of the distilled water, and I'm going to take my stir stick and just stir it really well. Incorporate the water into the entire jar of paste. And we are ready to go again. Now you can buy a pack of small squeegees also from Chalk Couture when you place your order. So when you have some smaller silkscreen areas to do, to work with, sometimes you want a smaller one. So now when I pulled this up, I see air bubbles. So I'm just gonna go back with my finger real quick and make sure I get rid of any air bubbles. Air bubbles can cause your paste to get underneath the solid part of the transfer and make a little mess, but remember, everything is fixable with water. So don't stress over it. It's not necessary. So 90-degree angle with your squeegee. And I'm being generous with the paste. I don't want it to dry up on me. I'm going to come back and pick up the excess. Okay. So we're going to try to get all of this paste down. I'm going to keep picking it up and applying. You can make great gifts, your own home decor. We have a lot of farmhouse collection designs in the current spring and summer catalog. So I encourage you to go and take a look. Our chalk surfaces are absolutely divine, and you'll want to check those out as well. We also have Club Couture, which is a recurring monthly club, which on the 5th of each month, you will get a B-size transfer, which is this size. So now I am picking up the excess paste, and I'm putting it back in the jar. Right there. Hi Vicki, how are you? Thanks for popping in. So now I'm going to go back over it and get rid of any lines that I see. And then I want to pull this transfer up to reveal the design. Get my paste back in there. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. And I just had it sitting there resting on another jar of paste so that the first part of my transfer didn't dry. So now I'm going to pull straight up. Okay, here we go. And I'm looking at it. Okay, so the little she kind of dried up on me and it pulled up a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab some paste and I'm going to take it, push it back through the transfer right there, and then pull it up, and hopefully that fixed it pretty well. Okay, so here we go. I'm pulling straight up. And there it is. Okay. remove the jar, and we're going to let this dry. And I'm going to show you how to clean transfer. So I'm going to sit it down on my smaller craft mat, and I'm going to put sticky side up and grab my towel, wash my hands off a little bit. I've got my water bottle, and I'm just spraying the silk screen area. And I'm going to take my well-used Chalk Couture board eraser. So, you know, just like the Mr. Clean ones, you know, they kind of dissolve as you're using them. But I've used this one many times. So I'm just going to take it, and I am using the board eraser to go over the silk screen area. And what I want to do is I want to push out any of the Chalkology paste out of that silk screen. And I need a little more water, so. And maybe when you're doing this, you might want to have a regular spray bottle. I just use the Mr. bottle, but you can also take this to the sink, run it under water, and it will wash that paste right out of the silk screen area. And I see a dog here, so I'm going to pick that up. All right. Now, I've got some paste up on the solid part of the transfer, so I'm just going to clean that with my board eraser. I'm going to grab a disinfectant cloth. Like I said, I picked these up at the Dollar Tree, so wherever you get the best deal, they're great to have in your craft room. You can use wet wipes too. And I think you can use baby wipes. You just don't want it to have, you know, a bunch of stuff in it. So, but really, I've got baby wipes here because I use them for other crafting and things, you know, cleaning stamps and whatnot. But I really like the way these disinfectant cloths work. So, they're my go-to. So I'm just wiping it off with the disinfectant, and I'm going to peel it up off of my craft mat. And you can tell my craft mat is really dirty, or really chalky, I should say. It's not dirty. So I'm going to pick it up and clean it. Now you could also have a pan of water, like a baking pan, over here to the side, and you could just lay your transfer in there, let it soak, put it sticky side up, and let the water work, and that paste will come right out of there. All right, so now we need to clean the front side. So now I'm gonna go sticky side down on my craft mat. And I'm going to spritz it and just clean it up. I kind of like to clean as I go. That's just my personal preference. So because I've already kind of cleaned through the silk screen, I'm just going to use another disinfectant wipe. I'm just going to clean the transfer off. And if there's any left in the silk screen area, we're going to pick it, it's going to go through the other side. So that's fine. There's a lot of paste on here, but it comes right up with water. So these are really easy to clean. You may have to use a few for this size transfer, but that's okay. Just buy them where you get the best deal. And if you go to the Dollar Tree, look at how many count there are in them, because sometimes they have the bonus packs, so just pick up the ones that have the most in there. All right. So I'm just looking at the transfer, looking to see if I see any color that's kind of stuck in the silk screen area. I don't see any. I'm going to pick it up again, and I'm going to move my craft mat away. I'm going to lay it down. Sticky side up this time. And spray it. And then I'm going to set it off to the side onto another microfiber towel with the sticky side up. Let it dry, and all that original stickiness is going to come back. So if you take your time, clean your transfers well. And if you have a large transfer, I would suggest that you just go ahead and take it to the sink and wash it out and get that ink or Chalkology paste out of the silkscreen area. But when you clean them and let them dry, you're going to get many, many, many uses out of these transfers. They're totally reusable. So I have my another microfiber towel that I picked up from Amazon when I first got started. So I've just got that laying off to the side, and I'm going to take my clean transfer, lay it down, sticky side up, and let that dry. And once it's dried, we're going to put it back on the backing sheet, and it will be ready to use again. Let me just clean up here for a minute. We will do some flowers. I love being able to use multiple transfers together. So I really like what this transfer says. She believed she could, so she did. And I've used it 4 times so far. And it's holding up really well, even though I sort of made it curl by not pulling straight up. So that's why I reiterated that previously. Okay, so let me put that there. It turned out pretty good. So I have some little flecks of paste, and we will clean those off at the end. I'll show you just how easy that is. All right, so now we're going to do some flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more spritz in my Storm color. And then I'm going to put the lid back on so that it doesn't dry out. And I'll come back off camera and clean up the jar a little bit. But I do want to cover it up because it's getting colder here tonight, and the heat is running, and they will dry out pretty quickly. So, and then I just have to reconstitute them with water, so it's not a big deal, but why do that if you don't have to, right? Okay, so I'm going to do some flowers, and I have a 3-ounce jar of the currant jam, which is kind of a purplish red, maybe. Ooh, you can kind of see that. So this is going to take some stirring, and you can see that I didn't prep ahead for this video, as I just came up here to play. Wow. Look at that. So I'm just going to, for the sake of time, pull that off, and That is going to go right back in this jar when I'm done. And I'm going to put plenty of water with it and then spend some time with the multi-tool stirring it. So let me get my other mister bottle. It's right here. So I'm going to do a couple of spritz. I'm going to take a stir stick and stir this around. I love this color. We have a huge array of colors in Chalkology paste and Couture inks, so be sure to check out the post on my Facebook page or go to my Chalk Couture website, which is www.chalkcouture.com/Donna Lee, L-E-E. And just browse the catalog and you will see all of the colors that are available. So this is the right consistency. So I am going to take one of my flowers, and I had them all picked out and I think I moved them around. Okay, so I'm going to take this little flower and I need to fuzz it. So I'm going to grab my fuzzing cloth and put that right here. And we're just going to pull it off edge to edge, lay it down on the cloth, pull it back up, and you want to do this a minimum of 5 times. Especially if it's the first time it's been used, and I believe that this is the first time this one has been used, because I don't see any staining of any color on here. That's why I say that. All right, so this one feels pretty sticky, so I'm going to do my little test. Yeah, it's kind of wanting to grab, so I'm going to do it a few more times. That's much better. Okay, so I'm going to put this flower right here, and I'm going to touch this, and it is dry. So I'm just going to place my silkscreen transfer down, and this is a very fine lined transfer, this flower is, so not a lot of silkscreen space. So I'm going to use the squeegee end of the multi-tool, which is this part, and I'm just going to dip into my paste and apply it to my flower. Just looking at it to make sure I've got it everywhere. I'm going to scrape the paste back on the side. Put it back in the jar, and hopefully you can see me doing that. There, and I'm going to pull it, try to remember to pull straight up. Okay, so the question is, do I want to get another one out of the same transfer before it dries? So I think I will go ahead and do that up here. I'm going to lay it down and come back and get my multi-tool squeegee end, get some more Chalkology paste, and go right back over it It's a little bit harder to see the silk screen area once it's already got ink on it. So you really want to just look and remember to get out any lines. And sometimes it just helps to come and go the other way. And I'm not getting my lines out, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my angled squeegee. I'm going to use a long angle, and I'm just going to swipe down, go along the side of my jar, put my paste right back in there. And I'm going to grab this transfer before it has a chance to, the paste has a chance to dry. I'm going to pull it up. And we got 2 flowers out of that. So this does need to be cleaned before it dries in there. I'm going to grab my craft mat. And let's see. Turn it over. Mist it with water. Disinfectant wipe. Just concentrating at first on the silkscreen area. Then you can take your cloth, your disinfectant wipe, and go back over the other side. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to lay it down here. Grab the disinfectant wipe. This is the sticky side. I'm just cleaning it. You can see that it's not sticking to it, but as this transfer dries, the stickiness will come back. They are completely reusable when you clean them. Now, the reds, these berry colors, they do stain your transfer, but it's not going to affect the use. So now if I wanted to do this in a different color, I could. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use another transfer. So I'm going to lay this down on my microfiber towel and allow that to dry. And when I'm laying it down sticky side facing up. I'm going to clean my craft mat. Okay. All right, so we are ready to do another flower. So I thought I would do I really like this one. I'm trying to decide where it will fit. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to peel this up. And we're going to fuzz it because this has not been used. So again, we're going to go at least 5 times. Just quickly putting it down. We're just trying to get some of the stick off of the back of the transfer so that we can get it up without stretching the silk screen part. That is the point of fuzzing. And so there we go. Thank you for the hearts. I hope you're having a good night, Vicki. And if y'all are making comments, I just can't see them, and I don't know why, so maybe you're not. All right. So this color, this one, I think I want to do in the linen, which is, it's called fresh linen. It might look white in the camera, but it's not. It's really a linen color, and you'll see it in just a minute. So I am going to lay this down where I want it. And you can see through the silk screen, so you see where you're putting it. And this one has more space. So this has more silk screen space. And that's okay. Now it's kind of going over my D there, so I'm going to move it. I'm just peeling it gently, so I don't want to pull up any paste. But the paste shouldn't come up once it's dry. All right, so we are going to go right about there. All right. And just going over that silk screen area with my finger. I'm going to open the fresh linen. And hopefully this is the one I've already used. Of course it isn't, because I didn't check it. Let me find the one I've already got open. So don't need to have two open. Okay, so this is what it looks like without the lid on it. And it's a great neutral. I'm going to grab a stir stick and stir it. Check the consistency. Just get a good stir. And I'm looking for yogurt consistency. It's a little thicker than I want it, so I'm gonna spritz it with my mister bottle, so about 3 mist. If you get it too loose, you can just let it sit. It'll sit up. Just give it a minute or 2. I doubt it'll take 2 with if you're running your heat this winter. And winter is back in Northeast Georgia in full-fledged. So we had a great spring-like weekend, and now we're gonna do winter again. And then by Thursday, it's gonna warm back up and rain some more. So, all right, I'm gonna clean my hands. And I need another squeegee. So let me get in my stash. And I'm going to take a 1/2 of a squeegee. I'm going to take my little stir stick and put my paste right there on my transfer, and just use my 1/2 of a small squeegee. You can purchase the mini squeegees from our store. And now I'm picking it right back up, all the excess. I'm going to come back over it, and I'm going to look for any lines that might be in the silk screen area and try to get rid of them by just going over it lightly. And now we are ready to work the transfer back so we can get 2 edges, and we want to pull straight up to reveal. And you don't want to rip it off, you just want to bring it up. So I like the contrast of the storm and the fresh linen. So this one is ready to clean, and I am going to sit it over here on my craft mat. I'm going to mist it with water, and I'm going to come back and clean that in just a minute. But I've shown you how to clean them, so you know how to do it. And now I want to do maybe one more flower, maybe. I kind of want to use the peacock. I like this one. So, or do I want to do this one? Sort of like that one too. So let me get this. Now I have used this one before, so I'm just going to peel it up corner to corner. I'm going to fuzz it a few times on my fuzzing cloth. You can fuzz this right here on your jeans, on your shirt. I don't know if you can see, but I'm doing it right here on my Chalk Couture apron. And it does a great job. So let's put this here. And I want to make sure that's dry. Give it a minute. You could take the heat gun and just heat it up real quick. Or your hair dryer on cool settings, even better idea. Mine's downstairs, so I don't have it up here. I love that fresh lemon color with the storm. So if you don't have those colors, you might want to pick some up. So the Club Couture, you get for $19.99 a month. It is an initial 3-month commitment. After 3 months, you can cancel it at any time. Every month you get a on-trend B-size transfer, which is the same size as the She Believes She Could. And you will get three colors of paste packets. So 3 different on-trend colors. When you sign up, I highly encourage you to go ahead and purchase the Kickstart package, which has chalkable surfaces in it, a 3-ounce jar of bright white Chalkology paste, and squeegee. And I believe there's something else in there. I just can't think of it right off the top of my head, so I apologize. But you can go to my website and then go to where it says Club Couture, and it will tell you everything about Club Couture. It is a monthly club. Your transfer will ship out on the 5th of every month, and you will get instructions on how to complete your project using the colors that you've received. You'll also get a link to a video where someone from Chalk Couture will show you how to complete your project. And I will also have videos and pictures available of projects I've completed, because I will also receive the same transfer. Now I will not get, I'm just adding some water to the peacock, and I'm going to have to stir it, so bear with me here a moment. And I think I'm going to need the multi-tool because it is pretty dry, but it's okay. We can reconstitute it with water. So let me make sure I'm in camera. I think I am. Okay. So I'm just taking the hook end of the multi-tool and going around the sides of the jar to get that paste moving from the sides, and I'm going to mist with some more water. And you're basically just reconstituting the paste until you get the consistency that you need, which is, I say, yogurt. So add as much as you need to get to that consistency. Yogurt, sour cream, some people say cake batter. My cake batters are always kind of thick, but I use alternative. I bake with coconut flour, which is a really dry, thirsty flour, and almond flour. So mine can be kind of thick sometimes. So I would say yogurt. So I'm just going to work this paste until I get it where I want it. We have a lot of collections this year in our spring summer catalog. So we have the Beehive collection, we have the home, I want to say it's Home and Garden, but I don't think that's the name of it. It's really cute though, really cute. Okay, I think we're getting close. And you see that I've got all this on my hand. I'm going to have to clean my hand before I touch my chalkboard. All right. Just going to pick it up. Okay. And I could have just a regular bottle, squirt bottle with some distilled water, but I just don't want to put too much. So I use the little Mr. bottles. It's just a personal preference. Okay, so I think we are ready. So this is the Peacock, which is a beautiful color. And I'm going to go ahead and use the side of the jar, inside side of the jar, to get as much of that ink right back in here. And then I'm going to take it, the multi-tool, the hook end, and use that to place the paste onto my silkscreen, transfer the flour, and I'm going to take this squeegee and I'm going to work the paste into the transfer area using the half of the small squeegee, or what we call a miniature squeegee now. And you can buy those by the pack so that you have plenty. So I'm going to take this and I'm going right back in my jar. So just putting it right back in there. Pick up all the excess paste that you can get up without gouging your area. And I'm going to come back over it and just smooth out any lines that I see, which there were not many. Okay. Now I'm going to work up the transfer, my hand, and come straight up. And there we have it. I like it. I like it, I like it. Okay, so I'm going to lay this transfer down, sticky side up. I'm going to mist it and allow that water just to start taking that paste out of the silkscreen area. Okay, so I'm going to do another one in the fresh linen. I'll do this one, maybe right here. So these flowers were from the fall winter catalog, and I believe that they are retired. I believe they're retired now. They may still have some, so if they have them, you can buy them, and I love them. But we have some other great flowers too, so check those out. If they don't have these, look and see what they do have, because they're all great. And also check out the beehive collection. I'm going to be doing the farm collection with the tractor and the barn and the silo, and putting some clover in it. Okay, so let me see. This is flowing across pretty well. So I think we're ready to put this down. And do I want to come right here or there? I think I want to come here. So we'll do it right here. Whoops. You can see it's still plenty sticky. So I'm just going to rub that. Make sure I don't have any air bubbles. And grab my fresh linen. Put some with the stir stick on there, and here it is. No, that was not the right one. All right. We'll grab another squeegee out of the stash. So check out Chalk Couture. It's a great way to see what Chalk Couture is all about. And try it for 3 months. Let me know how you like it. And I definitely encourage you to get the starter kit, because you get the Aiden frame, I believe, and you might get a board and base, and I'll show you that board and base in just a minute. Uh-oh, I think there was an air bubble there, y'all. Okay, well, we'll fix it if there was. All right, so I'm going to put that here. I'm going to pick up my transfer. And it is quite sticky. But I'm going to pull it side to side. Okay, so I can see lines, so I'm going to lay that back down. And I'm going to come back with my squeegee. I'm just going to try to smooth out those lines that I'm seeing. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I just want to smooth out lines. Okay. All right. Straight up. And notice I'm not snatching it off. I'm just lifting it. I'm going to lay my transfer sticky side up. I'm going to put some water on the silk screen, keeping those other two moist. So now I want to show you cleaning up the board. I've got a little flecks of paste, which happens sometimes. So I'm going to put some water down on my large craft mat. I'm going to take a cotton swab, the skinnier end, pick up some water, and once the paste is dry, you just rub it with the cotton swab. It dissolves the paste. You go back with the dry side and pick it up until you've gotten it all. So it's just that easy. So we'll come over here. Some there. And there was a little air bubble, and you can kind of see right here, just a little bit. it just pushed that paste right out the edge of the silk screen. So I'm just wetting it on the edge. I'm going to come back with the dry side and pick up that paste, and you can clean it up. And if you really don't like it, or if it just doesn't speak to you, you just spray this whole board. Use your your board eraser or a Mr. Clean, you know, one of those, what are they called? Magic erasers. Now, I'll just say, I don't know what kind of chemicals are in those and how long-term those will work with our transfers, so I don't use them now that Chalk Couture has them made for them. I just use theirs because I want my transfers to last for as long as possible. Get as many uses out of them as I can. So I'm just picking up any little remnants of paste, and some of it's just sitting there. And just be patient with yourself. Take your time and clean it up to your specifications. Most of all, just have fun. It's just fun. Okay, so there it is. The completed project. I like how it turned out. She believed she could, so she did. And I see another little spot right there. I'm just going to clean it up. I think when I was picking up the transfer, some of the paste was flecking off, and that's what I'm having to clean up. So that gradual pulling it up and then, you know, sitting one of the jars of paste down there to help hold it up so that it could dry, I think helps. So that's our finished project, and I appreciate you coming by. If I can answer any questions, please let me know. And I will put a link in the comments once I post the video to my site. Thanks for coming, Vicki, and y'all have a blessed night. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.